James Harden is not a max player anymore. Can we just get that out the way? Can we just do that for our audience here right now? Let's just stop it, okay? We respect James Harden. We know that James Harden has been great for years. A lot of it can be deduced to health issues. He wanted out of Houston, and he was determined to get out of Houston. So when they initially told him no, he came in out of shape, overweight, and obviously had to work himself into shape once he got traded to Brooklyn. In the process of doing so, he acquired a hamstring injury. He was never able to fully recover. Otherwise, Milwaukee wouldn't have won the title last year because Kevin Durant and Brooklyn would have beat that Milwaukee team. Maybe this Milwaukee team now as a seasoned champion is better. But last year when they were trying to learn how to win, Kevin Durant, size 13 instead of size 12 or whatever it was, all right, stepping on the line and hitting a 2 instead of a 3, allowed Milwaukee to survive and ultimately win that game in overtime. And as a result, the Brooklyn Nets missed out on it, and since Kyrie had injured his ankle, James Harden, came out there with a bad hamstring and tried to give it all he's got, and he deserves props for that. He comes to Philadelphia this year, okay? Even though he looked a bit stealth, like he had gotten himself in shape, he's never looked the same since he put on that weight because he was trying to get out of Houston. And it's come back to bite him because one could easily argue it has compromised his health. This is a guy, Wendy, and you know what I'm about to say here. James Harden has not attempted 20 shots in a game since he arrived in Philadelphia. Does anybody believe that? Did anybody? This is James Harden we're talking about here. James Harden, one of the most prolific scorers we have ever seen in the history of the NBA, has not even attempted 20 shots since he has arrived in Philly.
He can't get open, Stephen.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is not about a selection. That is not about being deferential to Joel Embiid. He can't get open. He can't create separation. And that is the reason why he has not attempted 20 shots or more since he has arrived in Philadelphia. In the last 14 games, we are talking about a guy that went like 6 or 7 straight years, averaging a minimum of 29 points a game. James Harden has not scored 25 points in a game for the last 14 games. This is James Harden we're talking about here. This is James Harden. And so let me tell you something right now. When you look at it from that perspective, yeah, you might have somebody like Mike D'Antoni lurking in the background saying this wouldn't happen if he was playing for me. You understand? You might have somebody like Daryl Morey, who's a big-time executive, and we all respect the hell out of Daryl Morey, but we know that he caters to his stars, and he believes in a guy like James Harden. Plus, he wants to validate the trade that he made. So now Doc Rivers' future is up and is in jeopardy because you got to do everything you can to make James Harden look good. But it ain't about Doc Rivers. It ain't about Joel Embiid. It ain't about Daryl Morey. It ain't about the emergence of Tyrese Maxey. It's about the fact that James Harden is a step slower and has trouble gaining the separation that he once could easily gain. And as a result, he can't get off enough shots to average anywhere close to the points that he used to average. When you take those things into consideration, that means you're not a max player, period. Doesn't mean he's a scrub. Doesn't mean he can't play. Doesn't mean he can't help you win. Doesn't mean he needs to come off the bench and doesn't deserve to be a starter. We're not going to disrespect him like that. But he's not the superstar player that he once was that requires the max. Now, maybe if he gets himself in shape, gets a strength and conditioning coach, Wendy, and dedicates himself, maybe he gets on that diet or that culinary program that CP3 is on where it's plant-based and he ain't eating food, eating meat and all of this other stuff. And he's bragging about how other dudes need ice, but he doesn't. I shouldn't say bragging because he was just letting the brother know. Yeah. He wasn't bragging. He was actually informing me to make me better. So I appreciate that. He wasn't bragging. But my point is maybe that's what the situation is. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is James Harden, unless we are looking at a dude that's simply that's not in great shape, and that could be rectified by a strength and conditioning coach and a program that gets him, that elevates his level of quickness or whatever. The James Harden that we have seen in Philly is not a max player. It's just that simple. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.